Okay, so second video here. Now that I've had a chance to get something to drink, we're going to continue where we left off. This one is going to be actually installing Arc. We've already got our drive set up. We prepared. We got our drive or our partition set up. Let's go ahead and get started. First thing we need to do is we're going to do mkdir/mnt. That's going to make a mount directory. Now, see, if you get file exists, then don't worry about it. Just ignore it. Go to the next step. The reason we wanted to do that and check is because we're going to mount our new partitions. So first we're going to mount our root partition, which is mount dev sta3/mnt. Okay, now we're going to do mkdir. Now we got to make folders for our boot and our home so that we can mount those as well. So let's mkdir /mnt/boot, mkdir/mnt/home. Okay, now we're going to mount them. Mount dev sta1/mnt/boot. Okay, now mount dev sta2/mnt/ oh, we're using 4. 4 is our home. 2 is our swap. /mnt/home. So pay attention to that. Make sure you know which partitions that you made. Alright, so that's done. The only thing we haven't mounted is swap because we don't need to. Swap is already on because we turned that on before, at the end of our last video when we were telling the system what file systems to use for each partition. That's what we did. So we don't have to worry about that for swap. Let's see. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to set up our mirrors for installing Arc. We want to do this because it's going to allow us to connect to the closest mirrors to us for retrieving Arc packages that are updated. Okay, so we're going to copy cp, let's see, pacman d mirrorlist, copy it to a backup, pacman d mirrorlist dot backup. Okay, that's done. Now we're gonna do something a little different. Usually by now you would go through the mirror list and uncomment the one. I can't talk right now. The one that you want, and then go from there. What I do instead is I go by what the Arc wiki does. It takes a little bit longer, but it's worth it because you don't really have to mess with your mirrors anymore, like ever. I do a I'm going to use a command that's going to uncomment all of the servers. Now, don't worry, we're not going to use all the servers. I'll tell you why in a minute. Let's go ahead and do this for now. sed I, and this is in the Arc wiki, and it's really useful. /server/server/that should be correct, and then /etc/pacman d/mirrorlist dot backup. Run that. Okay, now what that just did is it uncommented all of the mirrors in the backup, like all of them. So make sure you do this next part before you proceed. Otherwise, you're going to have all kinds of mirrors that you're trying to connect to, and it's going to take forever. We're going to do rank mirrors n6 etc pacman d mirrorlist dot backup. Okay, what this first part is going to do is it's going to go through that whole list of uncommented mirrors. It's going to basically ping them and pull the top 6. And it's going to leave the top 6 uncommented and then comment out the rest. Okay, so and this is gonna do it on the backup. So what we need to do is also write those changes to Cedra Pacman D mirrorlist. Okay, now this is going to take about 5 to 10 minutes, so I may actually have to edit this video out. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and wait. I'm going to go in the kitchen for a minute and wait for this to finish. So I'll be back. Like I said, I'm also going to edit this out. That took a couple minutes. Yeah, so it actually took maybe 6 or 7 minutes. I would say on an average, maybe about 10 minutes, depending on the system. So it will take a minute. Just be wary and don't think the computer froze up or something. But it did just finish. Okay, now we're going to install the Arch Linux base and base devel packages onto our new drive. I'm going to do this by pextrap i/mnt base devel. Default all. Hit yes. Gonna go through this, install all this crap. It's got quite a bit of stuff to install, so I'll probably have to edit this out too, but that's okay. It doesn't seem like it's going that long. Going much quicker than the other one was. Okay, boom, done. Look at that, 19.15 seconds. Wow, that only took 20 seconds. That's nuts. Okay, now we're gonna do we gotta generate our Fstab file. So gen Fstab u p /mnt over 2 /mnt tc Fstab. Make sure that's all right. Do that. Now we're going to verify our Fstab with nano mnt etc Fstab. Just want to make sure everything is there. And we got SDA3, which is our root, SDA1, which is our boot, SDA4, which is our home, and SDA2, which is our swap. That looks pretty good. Looks like we're all set with our Fstab. Now, if you have an SSD with swap that supports trim, TRIM, you can Google it and Google your drive, the type of model of SSD drive you have to see if it has support. If it does, you can change this to defaults discard. Okay, and that's for trim support. So we're going to write that out. Boom, done. Hit X. That should be good to go. And now we're going to finally chroot into our newly fresh installed Arch Linux and begin to configure it. So yeah, arch chroot /mnt. Okay, let's set up our language first. Create our language file. We've got to edit the existing one first so that we can tell it which one to generate. Cal.gen. Okay, and we're at Control W. It's a quick and easy way to find our enus-utf-8. Actually, that's a dot. It should be enus.utf-8. I'm going to search. Obviously, there's going to be more than one, obviously, because that shows up in the the sample. So hit Control W again, hit enter, and it'll search for the next one. Boom, there it is. Uncomment that, Control O to write out, hit enter, and then Control X, that exits. Now we got to actually generate it since we've uncommented it. So locale gen, that's done. Now we've got to echo it to our configuration. Echo lang equals en us dot utf8 over to etc locale.conf. I know it's etc, I always just say etc. Okay, that's done. Now we got to export it. Lang equals en us dot utf8. Okay, language is set up. Now we're going to set up our time. We're going to first list the zone information available via ls for list user /share /zone info. This is where all the default zone info is stored, so we're going to list all of them. That's all the different default zones. Mine, for example, I've got the default command that you should use in order to set it. Mine is America, New York, so that's what we're going to use for mine. LNS. There's a train going by. LNS is used to link a file, and pretty much like creating a shortcut or a desktop shortcut, so to speak. So we're going to do LNS user share zone info, and you can hit tab to make this a little bit faster. I'm going to do America, New York. I'm not in New York, but I'm on East Coast, so it's the same time. /UC local time, and that's going to link it to our local time. Okay, now we got to set up the hardware clock with HW clock sys TOHC UTC. Oops, that's UTC. Moving right along. Okay, now we got to set up our host name. My host name for my computer is Shittywalk because I like South Park, and my name is Glorious Egg Roll. So we're gonna do echo Shittywalk etc etc host name. Boom, done. Next thing we're going to do is our repositories. Repositories are what Arc uses to pull packages, or basically the list of packages to pull. So let's see, nano pacman.conf. And go scroll down here on my notes here. We have a 64-bit system, so we want the multilib in case we want to install 32-bit applications. So we're going to Control W, figure out where this is, and search multilib. We don't need testing, so we're just going to do multilib right here. And while we're here, we're also going to add the, what's it called? There's Arch Linux has a free. It's the public repository where you can get like the most updated versions of different programs. Arch Linux. I gotta Google this real quick because I don't remember the actual name of it. FR. Unofficial user repositories. That's what it is, and it's just it's repositories that users keep updated. So we're gonna add those with Arch Linux FR. Okay, and then we're gonna do sig level equals never server equals http://repo.arclinux.fr/arc. Okay, that should be good to go for that. Write out with Control O, enter, and Control X for exit. Okay, now we're going to do an update. We're going to update our actual repositories, since we've just updated the list of repositories with pacman sy. Now, optionally, if you want to check for system updates while you're doing this, you can add u, so it'd be syu. Obviously, my system's already up to date and says starting full upgrade system, nothing to do. Okay. Now we're going to set up our. Actually, we're gonna. We're gonna install Yowart. I'm not sure how the fuck to say it, but you use Yowart with the user repositories. Pacman SYOURT. Just install that, get it knocked out of the way. Okay, so that's installed. Now we're going to set up the root password and the first user or the default user that you want to use, which is it's going to be the user that you normally log in with in order to use the system. You never want to really log in as root. So first we're going to add a password for root. PASSWD. Type in our password. Password updated. Okay. Now we're going to add a default user with user add mg users capital G wheel storage power s bin bash, and my name is Glorious Egg Roll. I'm going to make sure I typed it right. Okay, we've added the user. Now we're going to set a password for that. PASSWD Glorious Egg Roll. Okay, type in my password that I'm going to use to log in. Password updated. Okay, now we're going to edit the sudoers file to enable the use of sudo. So we have to do this way. Editor equals nano visudo. You have to do it this way. You can't just type in nano visudo. It won't work. It won't be able to save. Okay, so we open this up. We're going to hit Control W and we're going to search for %wheel. Okay, uncomment that. And then we're also going to add another option down here. It's going to be default root pw. And what that's going to do, wheel is going to allow users to type in their password to use sudo. Default's root pw, what that's going to do is it's going to make those users have to know and type in the root password rather than their password. So that way it protects your system in case somebody else is on it. So we're going to do that. Control O. Write that out. Control X to exit. Save and close that. Now we're going to install bash completion, and that helps with auto completing of commands and package names. Pacman s bash completion. Install that. Okay, and the last part of configuring this drive is going to be able to make Arc bootable. First, we're going to have to check and make sure our EFI variables are mounted with mount t EFI var fs EFI var fs sys firmware EFI var. Okay, already mounted. It's already mounted. We don't have to worry about that. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to set up our bootloader. For EFI, I use Gummy boot. Very, very easy. So we're going to do pacman s Gummy boot. Hit yes. Okay, that's done. Now we're going to do Gummy boot install. Make sure everything copied over. File loader loaders. Okay. That's all set so far. I need to check something else too. We need to make sure that the we got to make sure that the default images that we're going to be booting from are in there. So we're going to cd/boot ls. There's our init ramfs Linux. There's our VM Linux. Okay, good. Everything's there. We're all set so far. Now we're going to go make a config file for Gummy boot. That's one of the last things that we need in order for it to boot. So we're going to do that by typing nano bootloader entries arc.conf. Okay. Title arc Linux / VM linus -linux. I don't remember if that was an image or not. I'll have to check. Let me see. I've got my reference here. I had my reference here. Where'd it go? I'm just double checking this and make sure it's I put this guide together from a couple of different guides, and I had to piece together what works, what doesn't work, and what I needed in here and what I didn't. Okay, that's correct. That's fine. Next, we go down here and we type in initrd /init ramfs -linux.img, and then we type in options. This needs to be a tab. Tab root equals /dev sda3 is our root device or partition. RW. Okay, write that out. Arc. Okay. Exit. Okay, so we got that done. We've got Gummy boot set up. Now, here's another thing that's fairly new. It's called has to do with Intel processors. Well, processors in general. It's called microcode, and what it says, this is pulled off of the ARC forums and a couple of other updates. It's fairly recent. It pertains more so to people who have Haswell or Broadwell Intel processors. This is something that you kind of need installed. If you have an AMD processor, the microcodes are updated via and available via Linux-firmware, which is already installed as part of the base system, so you don't have to worry about anything. But if you have an Intel, or you especially have a Haswell or Broadwell Intel, which I do, I have a Haswell i7-4770K. So we're going to have to install an extra package called Intel Ucode, and then we're going to have to add it to Gummy boot. Okay, so we're going to do pacman s intel-ucode. Proceed with install. Okay, now we're going to have to re-edit that Gummy boot file, and we're going to add another initrd file, or initrd line. initrd /init ramfs. What was the name of the other file here that I had in my text? Oh, it's not that. It's Intel ucode.img. Make sure that line is in there. Hit Control O, write it out. Control X to get out of there. All right. Let's see if it boots. We're going to exit. Make sure we get out of chroot properly. Then we're going to umount r/mnt. Make sure everything's unmounted. Okay, and then we're going to remove this and reboot. Yep, I should have rebooted first. That's fine. Pop reset here. Let's see. There it goes. Oh, hey, look, it's alive. We can log in. Boom. Done. Okay. Arch Linux is installed. We're going to... I'm going to make another couple of sets of videos regarding getting the interface set up, getting graphics drivers set up. You know, the things you do once you get it installed. But that's the end of this video. I will post the next video as soon as I make it. But this should be a basic install. Hopefully it wasn't as painful as it was for me, because God knows I racked my brain for fucking hours trying to get this shit right. Yeah. Boop. See you later.